Hi everyone, welcome back. Hartford Healthcare is giving children who are having a hard time in public school another option. And a special art project is helping those students show off their talents and express themselves. I'm joined this morning by Pat Reamer of the Hartford Healthcare Behavioral Health Network and Jessa Florian here to share her story. Thank you both so much for being here. Good morning, first of all. And Jessa, I'm so happy that you're here in particular because you can really help people understand how this program really helps people. My understanding is you were abused as a child for several years and went through a bout of depression yourself. Can you talk to us about your story?
So I was sexually abused for 4 years, ages 8 to 12, and then I ended up going through a 4-year-long court case. In the end, the perpetrator was not registered as a sex offender, so it was a very hard time, but because of coming out with my story, that's where the depression really increased and it got a lot harder for me. Okay, and school was difficult, I would imagine.
Yes.
Talk to me about trying to go to school while you're feeling this way. School was definitely an issue. I struggled a lot, self-harm wise and stuff like that in school, and that's kind of how everything kind of happened from there. Okay, well, first of all, I'm so sorry that you went through that. That is terrible. Talk to me about what steps you took and how you sort of were able to come out of that. We're talking about this alternative to school here. So my senior year in high school, I was still struggling, and I ended up at the Joshua Center in Old Saybrook, and it was very helpful because it took a lot of the stress that I was facing in public school out of that. Really? How does it do that? And Pat, maybe you can help us understand as well how this works.
So the Institute of Living, Rushford Center, and Natchaug Hospital all have schools that are accredited by the state for individuals that cannot necessarily make it in public school systems. So these schools are to provide academic education as well as therapies in the school, behavioral health therapies that assist people who are having trouble in regular school so that they can continue with their education but also get the therapy that they need either after school or during the school day.
Can you help me understand the signs of a child who might be having a hard time in school? What can parents, teachers, and even the students themselves be looking for to really know if they are having a difficult time?
Well, I think, and Jessa, you can probably add to this more eloquently than I can, but I think it's things like students that are withdrawn, very quiet, or acting out in very loud ways and seeking attention. But more for somebody who's depressed, I would imagine that you were more withdrawn and isolated, but maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
I was definitely withdrawn and isolated, and I kind of kept to myself, and there became like a facade on my face where I was different with my friends, but then how I truly felt was definitely the complete opposite of that.
That's no way to live. I'm so glad that you've been able to help yourself here in this situation. Now talk to us about this art project.
So the calendars, and Jessa did a great picture for the month of July, have been around probably since the 80s. And there are a number of 12 pictures that are chosen from schools at Natchaug, Rushford, and the Institute. So this was one in July, right, from the Old Saybrook School. It was a picture of a turtle. And they are published every year with really great artwork from the students at the school, and they are sent out widely. If you go almost anywhere that's a school or a hospital setting or an office setting, you'll see these calendars, and they're just beautiful artwork done by the students, and Jessa's was picked as the one that we really wanted to showcase.
Love it. And how can people find a little bit more information about the schools, the program?
Certainly calling the Institute of Living, Natchaug Hospital, Rushford Center, any of those places can give you information, or going on the web to the Hartford Healthcare website, hartfordhealthcare.com is another way to look.
Pat and Jessa, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for sharing your story. I think that really helps people at home who might be going through the same thing. Really do appreciate that.
Great.
All right, let's send things over to Kevin, who is in the kitchen.